Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm gonna give everyone a second before I start talking about the game, obviously. But yo, what's up, Wilson? What's up, man? Dude, I'm over the top right now, man. This team, man. This team. I that third quarter is gonna be engraved in my memory for a long time, especially if they win the series, win the chip, whatever it is. You know. Don't, yeah, the commentators are something, man. But hold up, give me like 1 second, guys. All right. All right, we should be good now. First of all, this might be the best game has that the Big Three has ever played in their career. Shea, Chet, and J Dub all combined. This is probably the best game they've ever played. Um, Shea was sensational in that first half. The second half, he had some slower moments. Still finished it off with 38 points, which tied his career high. Playoff career high. That might be J Dub's best game of his playoff career. That might be J Dub's best game of his playoff career. I mean, he was hitting the turnaround mid ranges even when the Thunder's offense was a bit slow to begin the game. He kept the half court offense going with the turnaround mid ranges. Again, Minnesota's forcing Minnesota's playing man defense, right? So they're basically forcing Shea and J Dub to just beat you in isolation every time. And we know Shea can do that. There was no question on if Shea was going to be able to do that. But the fact that J-Dub was able to pick them apart, go 12 of 20. Um, Again, everything in the mid range. He was great on the boards, and that's something that J-Dub has struggled with with in the past. Being a good rebounder, closing possessions. Outstanding game today from J-Dub. And then Chet, the loss of the big three. You just said it, Chet's touch around the rim. He's looked so good the first two games. Just getting quick shots. Um, Shea, J-Dub, Kaysen, all these guards are actively trying to find them. So shout out to them for making the passes, obviously. But man, J-Dub was huge. I can't get over that J-Dub game. That might be one of my favorite games ever. He truck. I don't know if you guys remember. The last bucket was just trucking Jaden McDaniels to the rim after McDaniels had the flagrant foul on Shea. Big bucket after big bucket. Kaysen's development has been huge. He started off really rough offensively today. I think Mark took him off the floor at one point, but as a playmaker, or as a decision maker, more to say, he's making all the right decisions. Four assists. I feel like he's had multiple games where he's had 3 or 4 or 5 assists, just playing in the zone, um, making sure that no matter what, Thunder getting the ball near the rim. He's the reason why Chet got so many looks. What happened in the fourth quarter? Um, Minnesota started making shots first of all, and I think Minnesota started pressuring a bit. And the Thunder got a little flustered, but obviously they limited any turnovers. That's the main thing. Even though Minnesota was pressuring them a lot, they didn't turn the ball over at all, which is why they still were able to keep a pretty decent lead. But yeah, it was scary for a second, but full confidence in this team right now. No, yeah, yeah, Liban. I was watching the game live, and there was 4 or 5 times where they just lose Anthony Edwards off the ball. You can't let that happen. Um, you can never let that happen. He's like the second best shooter in the world. He's gonna punish you every single time. You've got to be smart in that. First time this playoffs that are big three all played great. It could be like this is I don't I don't know if it's the first time, but this is by far the best they've ever played altogether, regular season or playoffs. Um, I'm pretty sure they scored all our points in the first 14, 15 minutes of the game. They had 90% of our points. We only had three double digit scores today, and they're all the big three: Shea, J Dub, and Chet. The perfect SGA game. Honestly, only 2 threes taken. Shea Shea Shea's just been Shea's just ridiculous, man. A ridiculous player. Um, we can talk about him. I'll talk about him for a second right here. Like he is the best one-on-one player we might ever see, barring maybe Michael Jordan, right? Maybe you might want to throw someone else in the mix right there. But come playoff time, I've never seen a player be able to just like create an advantage on a defender no matter what situation they're in. You put Jaden McDaniels on him, he's getting an advantage. You blitz the pick and roll. He's splitting between and getting to the rim. You put a smaller guy on him to be physical. He's gonna shoot over the top of you. Like he is truly like the most unguardable one-on-one player we've seen in a long time, and that's the reason why teams go zone so much, right? Like Minnesota try to run zone to stop Shea, but like they aren't smart enough to run zone, and we saw what happened. Their zone got completely picked apart. Um, yeah, best game I've seen from the Big Three. I 100% agree. That's my favorite game from the Big Three in a while. Um, need to keep attacking that soft spot in the zone again. Yeah, Caruso had that. I think Caruso kind of played him out the zone. There was like 2 possessions in a row where he just gets the ball in the middle of the floor and he hits a wide open mid range and a wide open floater. Like these are the little things that help establish like what coverage the defense can run, what they're comfortable in. And again, like I said it before the series. Yes, everyone's so scared. Like, yes, Minnesota's going to zone up. Minnesota has so many good defenders, right? Like, and I understand why people were scared about that, but they're also not comfortable playing that. They're not comfortable playing that defense. They played man all year because Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards are not good off ball defenders. So the Thunder can just exploit that every single time. And yeah, Caruso helped them pick them apart early. I will say the refs today. We can talk about that quickly. Again, I don't love ref talk. They definitely shifted on the other end of the spectrum. They saw the complaints or whatever you want to call it. Caruso fouled out in like a few minutes. I mean, 24 minutes, he got 6 fouls. And so like half of them were like 50-50 calls. So like, again, the fact that you're able to withstand this type of game where everything shifts is huge. Yeah, you're living with the Caruso mid-range, but like the fact that he was able to punish it, it got him out quickly out the zone. The rebounding was great today, man. The rebounding was great. And it's really like the smaller guys. We had Joe in game one. Joe had 8 rebounds in game one. That was huge. Now you had J-Dub. J-Dub having maybe one of his best rebounding games ever. 10 rebounds today. Dort. Like all these small guys are like getting a lot of boards now. And they're crashing a lot better. You know, all adds up together. I don't know if 55 rebounds to about 52. Like you live with that as long as there's no significant advantage in the possession battle. They're gonna play bigger. They're gonna play Gobert. They look extremely poised. Like people have said it a few times. I don't know if it was slander or praise to the game to whatever it was. It felt like a regular season game because it really did. They did not look flustered at all. They looked prepared for whatever Minnesota was gonna throw at them. The Jaden McDaniels foul was hilarious. The Jaden McDaniels foul was hilarious. I mean, he got beat completely by Shea, and then he just shoves him to the ground. And you can people are gonna get mad at Shea's 15 free throws if you watch that game and your takeaway was Shea's foul grifting, Shea's foul baiting, Shea's flopping. You need to just stop watching the sport, like please. Like what Shea did today was beautiful. He was getting deep in the paint. He was getting to his spots, and they just couldn't guard him. It's straight up that these guys cannot guard him because they're running one-on-one looks. They can't run zone. They can't play him one-on-one because you can't play one-on-one with Shea like with any player in the league. I feel like there's maybe like 2 defenders in the league who would give him some troubles. Herb Jones and Amen Thompson. They would give him some troubles. But again, like Jaden McDaniels is nothing for Shea, and that means less to McDaniels. It's more praise to Shea. You know, he's he has a counter for everything. He's so fluid. His playmaking has been great in the playoffs, right? Especially since the second half of the Denver series. He had I think 8 assists today. Yeah, 8 assists, only 1 turnover. I mean, he's one of the best offensive engines in basketball. Like it's he might just be the best player in basketball. Like forget MVP. He won MVP. Congratulations, by the way. I haven't talked about Shea's MVP yet. Um, Watched it obviously yesterday. Was extremely excited. His speech was awesome. It was definitely a great speech from a great person. Nothing else to say about that. But he might just be the best player in the world. Like no player can control the game, stop runs, make a team so frustrated, make a team change the coverages so much like Shea does on a game to game basis. It's insane. I'm so glad Mini doesn't have a playmaking hub like Jokic. Yeah, like I said it before the Denver series, there's only like one or two players in the world who can actually like test the Thunder's defense, and it's Jokic because you're gonna have to double in the paint. I mean, double in the post. You're gonna have to send a lot of weird type of help. You're gonna have to concede something, right? When you're playing against Edwards and Randall, you're fine with basically everything. Randall cannot post up against this team. Like as good as Randall is, he's just not gonna be able to see the floor, and played pretty good today. Nothing against him, but like still, he's not the highest level playmaker. Um, and he's still mainly a 3 point shooter. Today he was great as a finisher, great in the mid range, but that's not really his game, right? He's mainly become a volume 3 point shooter, and then the finishing and 2 point scoring comes along with it. The boxing on rebounding, yeah, like outside of like the two games in Denver where they completely like I think it was uh I want to say game two and game seven, right? The two blowouts, the games where they controlled the boards. Outside of that, they kind of struggled, right? Right now they're completely doing fine, and they've kind of made Rudy Gobert unplayable to an extent. Um, I don't know how Gobert played 30 minutes today, a little below 30 minutes today. He played 22 minutes in game one, and there's a lot of times where Finch is electing to go with Naz Reid at the five because they need more offensive help. Like Gobert is like seriously gonna making a bad decision every time they put two in the ball and put it in the middle of the floor. So like this was exactly what the Thunder needed to do going into the series. Find a way to run Gobert off the floor offensively. Um, just exploit their weaknesses, right? Exploit their lack of decision making. They did that perfectly today. Why is Mini not showing gap help? I don't know. Chris Finch is really. I guess Minnesota's like a. If I had to just guess, Minnesota's like looking a lot into the regular season numbers, and in the regular season, it said the Thunder were worse when teams gapped, which obviously is not true in the playoffs. But they're respecting the Thunder shooters a lot for some reason. Let's give some love to Lou. Yeah, yeah. Door was great today. Door was great today. Um, Again, he was great on the boards, and he was also like he had like a few plays where he just blew up the play completely. He had like a few steals, like one on Randall where he just like Randall turns and Dort's just completely there to snatch the ball. And like that's the thing with Lou, right? In a lot of games, he doesn't have an impact when he's not on the ball defensively. Now he's like blowing up plays everywhere. He's like learning from Caruso almost. He's just making the right play every single time. Mike Conley is being a positive plus minus in both games. Only guy to do that for either team. Any idea why? Um, hmm. Let's see. Let's see the plus minuses. Mike Conley plus 14. I want to say it's somewhat of a coincidence, right? Because like I don't think they've been like running much through Conley. They haven't like I don't think like decision making has been like that big of an impact. I guess he's playing a lot with the starters, right? So like I guess that basically indicates that Minnesota's winning like the early minutes in the quarters. Minnesota's winning the minutes that they play with the Starters. I don't really know. Um, what else that would indicate? Yeah, I would have to look more into that. It is interesting though. Like I saw that last game too. Like Conley was really impactful for them. Looking into plus minus, but there isn't anything like noticeable that he's like doing. I mean, he's a really smart player, but I don't think that's representative of the impact he's had. Minnesota shot again pretty bad today, and it's gonna be funny because there's gonna be like a stat today like the Wolves had this many wide open 3 pointers, but like it's just not. when you're playing against the Thunder, like those open 3 pointers, like the quality of the looks are much worse than it's perceived. They're really fast at closeouts. They cover ground really quickly. Like I wouldn't look at the open 3 point numbers against OKC. Like there's a reason why teams are worst. There's a reason why the Thunder are the best 3 point defense in the league. It's not just because they concede a lot of because they don't concede threes. That's not true. They concede a lot of open threes. They just concede them to the right guys at the right spot. So I would never like look at the stat and say, "Oh, Minnesota shot really bad today. That's just bad variance." That's not what's happening. No, the McDaniel's push had me laughing, man. Like y- he just really couldn't guard him. Straight up, he just couldn't guard him. Like I had nothing else to say outside of laughing. I think it's because Dante DiVincenzo's his sub. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's bench has been pretty awful this series. Nikel was really good today in the second half, surprisingly on offense. He had like a lot of tough finishes. He kind of went in a shea bag. But Nas Reed, Dante, they've all been really bad in this series, and really all postseason for the most part. Um, you know what we should talk about? Julius Randle, 6 points in 32 minutes. Randle was played off the floor in that fourth quarter. That's insane because Randle going into this series, Randle was like Minnesota's best player in the playoffs to that point. Randle was one of the best players overall in the postseason. He was averaging 24 points on like insane efficiency, and you're making that guy not close in the fourth quarter. You're making that guy score single digits points. Like we'll look back at this like a few years from now and just recognize how absurd this defense truly was. I don't think we're really appreciating it right now in the moment, but I dare anyone who complains about SGA fouls. Yeah, they can look back at them like you can call it foul baiting, a bad watch. What pisses me off is just how disgusting the discourse was. Like people who never watch basketball were talking about Shea being unwatchable. People, our NFL analysts were talking about Shea. Like that's just not right. You know, how did they stop Randall? It's kind of similar to how they stopped Jaren Jackson, right? He just can't score in the post. That's really the main thing. Game one, the only time he scored, I mean, only like the main reason why he scored because he was shooting really good from free. Randall just can't score in the paint against his team because not only do we have good on ball guys like J-Dub or Hardenstein or even Caruso, right, to be like physical, or even Dort at times, right? All four of them really play minutes to be physical with Randall. Um, they're also like really good at sending the help. They're really good like digging in. So like the second that Randall spins, like Dort's gonna be running, Caruso's gonna be running to just deflect the ball, or like just um make sure that Randall's gonna pick up the ball and have to like make another decision. They're like really good at that. Um, just making them uncomfortable, like always forcing them to make another pass, always forcing them to like make another decision. Like the way you win on defense is by forcing the other team to make as many decisions as possible because eventually you're gonna mess up, right? You're gonna make the wrong play, you're gonna make the wrong read. So that's what the Thunder do. They'll just continue to help and help and help until you finally make that mistake, and then they start running on offense and scoring. I would compare us to a better 2004 Pistons. We don't have Wallace. I would say SJ is about better than Chauncey. I would say like they're kind of like a 2019 Raptors in my opinion, something similar to that, like a better 2019 Raptors. I don't know. 2019 Raptors were really really good. I don't know like how much I can say better, but like a version of them. Or maybe you can like even look at the 2022 Warriors. I think that's another pretty good like roster construction uh comparison. Net rating FC strikes again. Yeah, the Thunder have like a historic net rating in the playoffs so far. Yeah. People over. I'm not gonna act like this series is over, right? But people try to downplay the Thunder season, try to downplay maybe how historic this team was. because of the struggles they had, and not struggles, like them not dominating Denver. Like the fact they didn't win in 4 or 5 against Denver, people acted like it was the dumbest thing ever for like acting like this was a historic team. And the Thunder have a chance to like next, definitely the rest of the series and hopefully the finals. You're gonna have you're gonna have a lot of time to cement yourself as one of the greatest teams of all time. Um, I want to look at some real quick. What are Shea's stats for the playoffs now? 6 wins, bro. 6 wins. Shea's almost averaging 30 points per game this playoffs. 29.8. He's right there on really good efficiency. I'm praying that the 3 point percentage becomes respectable. Yeah, yeah. The 3 point percentage, um, the 3 point percentage stuff is really bad right now. I think today they shot pretty bad again. First half they could. I mean, they couldn't even make a shot in the first half. 9 of 33. But here's the thing: the fact that they can win games while shooting poorly from free just cements like how insane this team is and how insane Shea is, how insane the defense is. It's really like you have two superpowers, right? Every single game you're gonna have an insane defense, and then you're gonna have the best player in the world in Shea, right? Everything else like the shooting, um, the 3 point shooting on a game to game basis, that's just extra. Everything else is extra. You have two constants, and they'll keep like that's the reason why the Thunder have never got blown out in the playoffs the last 2 years. They obviously lost to Dallas. They've obviously lost a few games to Denver, but like they never got blown out ever because simply because they have such a high floor. Um, I'm honestly hoping for New York to make the finals because the Pistons love to play fast and shoot really good from free. I'm happy for either matchup just from a basketball standpoint. Either you got Shea playing in New York, you got the Thunder playing in New York against a big market. That's a really fun matchup. Or Indiana's offense is so fun to watch. It'll be like an unstoppable force versus like an unstoppable offense versus like the greatest defense in the modern era. Like it's a perfect stylistic matchup. I know I'm asking for a lot, but 4-0 would be really nice for the rest. And then hoping Knicks Pacers go in game 7. I really hope the Knicks Pacers series goes long. And there's obviously still a chance. It's literally game 1. But that game 1 loss was historically bad in terms of like the collapse and everything. It's gonna be said after game 1. I'm leaning closer to Thunder in 5 right now. That's like my guess. I'm probably still thinking. I mean, Minnesota still kept it close for like a solid portion of this game, and they're gonna have a good shooting game eventually, like a really good shooting game. Where they shoot like 35, I mean 37 plus from free. That's gonna happen, especially at home. But I mean, at this point, like you just got to go win one in Minnesota. Just win one in Minnesota, and I'm very confident they can do that. And you set yourself in a perfect position to close it out at home and give yourself 3 opportunities. Now, Indiana's offense is absurd, man. Yeah, Indiana's on an absolute heater right now. Aaron Neesmith, I think everyone on Indiana is shooting like above 40% from free this postseason. It's absurd. It's absurd. Yeah, but the 3 point percentage stuff, I mean, only making 9 3 pointers and winning that game is so funny. I don't really know if there's any other team in the league that can do that thing, where they just like have single digit games from free, games where they shoot below 30% and still control the game the entire time. 73-9 Warriors are this team. That's the team. That's the time they lost in the championship. I'll probably still say 73 Golden State just because of. I mean, those Cavs teams were insanely good, but the Thunder can again a good run here, a good run to close this out. You got 6 7 games, 6 games left to win, and then they can debate with almost anyone. They have the regular season resume, they have the postseason resume, they have the best player in the world resume. Like they've gone they've gone like almost every argument. You can go net rating, record, uh, who they beat, like simply like the off season talks. If they do win this championship, will be insanely fun to have. Yeah, but talking about Anthony Edwards for a second, going to game 3, you're gonna have to find a way to limit his touches a bit inside the paint. I think again OKC was kind of like living with Ant beating them downhill, and he didn't really do so in game one. He just got baited into like the long pull up threes, the pull up twos, and again they lived with that. But they're gonna have to find a way to like limit him a bit. He's gonna draw a lot of pressure. He's gonna draw a lot of free throws. He's gonna get you out of rotation. I mean, it's not acceptable to only 4-0 turnovers on Edwards when he has the ball for so long. So they're gonna have to fix a few things there, because I really think Minnesota's offense could have got going at some point that game if a few 3 pointers went their way. I think their offensive process looked a lot better this game. How did OKC manage to become such a two-way engine during the playoffs? It reminds me of Golden State. I mean, offense still hasn't really come for them, right? Like the Thunder's offense still hasn't. Um, it's still not there. It's still kind of, still kind of just on like the slow side. It's still relying on a lot of half-court buckets, but the two-way, the two-way dominance is insane right now. And they really are like a 2015 Golden State. I think I've seen that comparison a lot. Like this could just be a 2015 Golden State year, which means there's gonna be like a one more year where there's gonna be like a window where they can improve even more. Hold on, what did Jenny McNeil say? Did he say something post game, Wilson? Dog. Oh, bro, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. I can't even hate, bro. That's fair. That's fair. That's completely fair, man. I like it's kind of like what Wolf's Twitter like wanted him to. Wolf's Twitter was basically saying like all the entire time, like if Shay's gonna get the fouls, just make sure you foul him hard. I didn't think they were gonna take it literally. That's kind of crazy, but no, like he literally couldn't guard Shea all game. So like I understand why he's mad. Shea literally like has fried him for years. Like they literally take Jaden McDaniels off of him at times. They try putting Edwards on him in that third quarter, but that is kind of lame. It's funny, but it's a lame at the same time. Like admitting that you like intentionally push a player, like come on, I don't. Like I don't know. I would just try to get better on defense, play a little more disciplined defense. You're supposed to be like the all world defender for Minnesota. You're supposed to be like the what they put you in all defensive talks. They're mad that you got stumped from all defensive team. Like I don't know. I would just try to play better defense next time. But you do you. Yeah, but Nikhil really had a crazy game, bro. He started hitting his threes and had that finish. In the second half was crazy from him. Yeah, I'm so happy for J Dub. I'm so happy for J Dub, man. He wonder if SGA thinks it's funny. I don't. I can't read Shay, man. I don't. Shay Shay's reaction to like every single thing on the court when teams like go back and forth with him or like do a hard foul. He's like too nonchalant to ever react. But we'll see. Hopefully someone post game asked Shay about it. If he hasn't had his interview yet, he probably did, sadly. But like, someone's gotta ask him about it. It's I just want to see what he thinks. He says he loves when they get mad. Did Shay say that? There's no way. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. But Shea MVP trophy holding. Shout out Chris Paul for being there today. That was obviously really cool to see. Kendrick Perkins getting a standing ovation was on my bingo card for this postseason. I mean, I know he's like I know Thunder fans appreciate him more than most other people, but like That was kind of crazy in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. Game three will be interesting though because I expect like so Minnesota basically ran the same coverages today, right? In terms of like they mixed a little more zoning in at some points just when Shea got too much going. But for the most part, like they stayed pretty disciplined in their coverages. So like maybe if you're Minnesota, you completely rework your defense. You completely rework what you're gonna do, because obviously it's not working. I mean, the fact that the Thunder have had uh back to back good offensive games while shooting bad from free, like considering how they just played against Denver, that's a horrible sign for Minnesota. A horrible sign for Minnesota. And if you're Chris Finch, you should be mad at yourself right now for not finding something better because OKC's offense is not good enough, and this is coming from a Thunder fan. Obviously, like we're not good enough offensively to a point where we're getting good offensive games while shooting bad from free in back to back games. When you have that personnel, what's the mindset for game three? Yeah, Pacers and Pacers. Here's the thing: Knicks would be a much easier series. Knicks would be fun to beat. Like Knicks would be fun to beat, but Knicks would also be super easy. Indiana would be a little more competitive, but like then you're playing against Indiana, not New York. I'm fine with either, but like it's like pros and cons to both sides. But again, I mean the only pro that matters is winning a championship. Like everything else is just like schematics and stuff. So yeah, OKC loves Perk. Yeah, what's the mindset for game three? Because role players play much better at home. Yeah, Minnesota's crowd is gonna be livid. They're gonna chant free throw merchant at Shea every single time McDaniels reaches in because he gets blown by. That's just gonna happen. Shea's prepared for it. Shea's seen it before. They're a great fan base, great crowd, but yeah, I expect Minnesota to make big adjustments for game three. I expect Minnesota to rework their entire defensive thinking. Um, they have to play the gaps more. As someone said it earlier. You're gonna have to play the gaps more because they're lucky Shea didn't get 40 points today. Shea could have easily like he got 38, right? Whatever it was. He could have walked to a bit more if he stayed a bit more aggressive because those coverages were just. I mean, they're playing good defenders on him, but like for Shea, if you give him any sliver of space, he's gonna be able to create an advantage. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna try to look forward into the finals. That's just like a fun little side talk, but like it's still end of the day, you're supposed to win games at home. There's like there's a lot of there's a lot of game to play. There's a lot of adjustments to be made on the road. Yeah, I mean, no. Also, another thing is McDaniel's is just weak. Jaden McDaniel's is just weak. He can get bumped off the spot so easily. He's like a very lengthy, like skinny frame almost. So it's very easy for Shea to get that bump midi off every single time. Um, Braun is much more stronger in the core. J Dub's proving people wrong this series. Yeah, this is by far his most impactful two free games in the playoffs I've seen, but especially past round one. Both ends, like game one was defensive masterclass. Today was more offensive. Like I mean, those turnaround minis, man. Those turnaround minis, man. Like sheesh. Shea was a plus 25 today, by the way. And again, I think I talked about it earlier for a second, but like Che being a lot more decisive around the rim. Um, hitting those quick little jump hooks, getting those layups. That's awesome. He's getting a lot more confident, getting those easy buckets. His free ball is gonna have to come along eventually. He's just not shooting the free well at all. But like, I'm not too worried about that right now. But again, big free played their best game, so yeah, you can look at the plus like the on court net rating real quick. Yeah, I mean when Shea was on the court, the Thunder had 126 offensive rating, and for the game they had 123. So like a bit worse, obviously, with him off the floor in those few minutes. But these coverages are sweet for Shea right now, and it's so funny for Shea to like because in theory Denver's defense should be much worse than Minnesota, but like it truly is a coverage game with Shea. It doesn't matter who's on the ball really or who's at the rim. It's mainly just like how can you take him away from his spots, considering how good your coaching and schemes are defensively. Like that's why I'm not looking at New York or Indiana saying, "Oh, that's free food for Shea," because end of the day, it just really matters what coverages they run. I think, for example, Indiana runs really conservative coverages against guards. I think that's why Jalen Brunson's shooting so many shots against them. But just in general, it fluctuates so much. Yeah, no. You know what I'm pissed about? I wanted Shea to get 40 so bad. I wanted Shea to get 40 so bad, but they started doubling at the end. They started trapping, so he couldn't get 40 off. But they weren't gonna ruin Shea's MVP moment. I mean, come on. That's the best player in the world. Yeah, the trading him thing was always reactive. It was, in my opinion, it was always like, is J-Dub just being in too big of a role for him? That's always the question. It was never like a we have to trade him. He has to be the one to move. It's just growing pains, and even going forward, right? No matter what, the Thunder had some issues in the Denver series, and nothing will completely take away from that going into the offseason. There's gonna be still some stuff that the Thunder can improve on, right? Roster wise, but no matter what, like J Dub's two way impact as a defensive player, as like an off the catch slasher, second playmaker. That's gonna be hard to find. That's gonna be hard to find. He's gonna be part of this core for a while, and I think people have accepted it, and they're gonna grow to appreciate him. I mean, all offensive second team in his third year, while averaging 20 points per game. I don't know how many times that's happened in NBA history. We're again all defensive guy averaging 20 points per game at a relatively young age. That's just a rare player. That's a rare archetype. Um, what is Minnesota's home record? I think it's pretty good. 25-16. It's actually not that good. It's their home record during the playoffs. Yep. You did say that, man. During the playoffs. Hold up. They've only played 43 playoff games as a franchise. My God, poverty. 4-1 this season, but obviously, like they played Golden State a few times. I don't know how without Curry. I don't know how real that is. Yeah, that CP3 year is going in history, man. I love the standing ovation he got. The Shea MVP video with all those people was super cool. I don't know how I don't know how Shea has so much like connections and emotion with soccer players, like international football superstars. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, he does. Playing Denver was probably the best team. Yeah, Denver was gonna be the toughest matchup. I always felt that. I always felt that. I don't. I have to see if I said in my. I'll have to try to clip it in one of my live streams or videos. I always felt that Denver was the toughest matchup, as long as it wasn't gonna be Cleveland or Boston in the East. Obviously, both are gone. So like, but again, one game at a time. You still have to win one on the road. It's not an easy task. And again, you're not blowing out Minnesota. They're still staying in games. They're staying within reach um, for most of these games. But the third quarters are insane. And we can talk about Mark Daigneault real quick. Mark Daigneault is coaching a fucking series right now. He's coaching the series of his life. Um, Game 7, he made an adjustment of putting Caruso on Jokic. Completely changed the game. Um, Game 1, he puts Kenrich small ball. And in this game, he helps the Thunder navigate through the zone. He completely helps shut out Randall in the post. Like Mark has been coaching a great stretch of games, and I think it was Game 3, right, where the Thunder lost in overtime. There was a lot of talk about firing Mark. Firing Mark, is he the guy to lead Shea in his core going down? And he just coached three of his best games of his career. And at the end of the day, Mark is an inexperienced coach too. He's he's developing with everyone else. He deserves some grace too, and he's definitely deserved it. These third quarters, I've been giving me 73-9. Warriors third quarters. Yeah, I've been saying it all year, right? The Thunder can go on runs that only the peak Warriors could have done, where they just completely like dominate through. The Warriors dominated for 3 pointers, right? Steph and Clay, off the break and transition, just going on those insane runs. The Thunder go on runs, just forcing turnovers and getting transition points, and it's so funny that people just think this team isn't fun to watch. I mean, again, each to your own. Obviously, you can't force someone's opinion, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, come on, those runs. I don't know what Mike Breen called it. I think he said like Thunderbolt or something like that. He called one of those runs, but like they're special to watch. And then you add like the element of Shea in his like half court creation. Like, I don't know. I'm so excited to see how this run ends, man. And not just this year, There's gonna be a lot of years of this, and I hope the NBA fans, you hate us, you love us. I hope you're prepared because they're gonna stick around for a while, and these runs you're gonna know these runs by the end of it. Yeah, like the Mark criticisms were fair. He was not good in the first half of that series, but which is completely fair criticism. But like, he's also the one who helped lead that historic defense. He's also one of the greatest defensive coaches ever. You can look at playoffs, you can look at regular season, even against the Mavericks when the Thunder kind of struggled, right? They were still a pretty good defensive team that series. They had the best defense against the Mavs that any other team in the entire league had. So like, end of the day, that Mark is a special asset to this franchise. Thunder versus the world. It kind of does feel like that, and it's kind of fun. I kind of like that. I kind of like that it's become this. NBA fans wanted less threes and more defense, and that's exactly what we're giving them, and they still hate. They wanted more mid-range shots, right? They love mid-range shots, but once Shea shoots them, it's not as fun. Like, I truly don't understand. What do they want? Because if a player's gonna go to the rim every time, get mid-range shots, they're also gonna get fouled. So, do they just want a player who just shoots mid-ranges, who gets to the rim, who dunks, plays perfect defense, and gets to the line like 2 times a game? Is that what they want? Like, I don't know. NBA fans are very they don't know what they want. They just don't love anything. Our players love Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Hold up, I forgot to tweet this. Scott Foster's cool. People saying they want to play like Kobe and Mike, but still complain about boring. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Easy money snapper and everyone watching, right? If they don't appreciate Shane right now in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, they're gonna appreciate him. They might appreciate him. They might appreciate him after the series, right? If they don't appreciate him after the series, they might appreciate him after the finals if they win. If they don't appreciate him this year, they might appreciate him next season. You know, like, this team is gonna be around for so long that there's gonna be one day that it just clicks for some people. I you guys probably hated um a bunch of players, right? When they were rising, I don't know, maybe Golden State, maybe John Moran, maybe like just like any player who was rising, right? You might have hated him, Luca at some point, right? But eventually, like, there's like one moment, there was like one game where, like, okay, you know what, this guy's actually tough, right? It's gonna happen eventually, and that's why I'm not that worried about it. It's gonna happen eventually, and he's already won MVP. He he has a chance to win Finals MVP. He has a chance to win Western Conference Finals MVP. Like, just wait, it's gonna happen. You think splitting the road games, or I expect us to split. I mean, Minnesota's still a very good team, and they've been very good at home in the playoffs the last few years. I'll probably expect to split, but sweep's definitely on the table, man. That's 2 games. That's 2 games, and this team is playing at a absurd level right now. So I'm still expecting Thunder in 5. I think they split one game. They split one game, and then I mean they split the 2 games, and then they close out in 5. 2014 Spurs, yeah. But then, what's crazy? People hated the Spurs in real time. People said the Spurs were boring. The Spurs were bad for the league. They had no personality. People hated the Spurs until it was finally gone. People will hate the well, people will appreciate the Thunder when they're finally gone. People like James Harden now, right? A few years later, because they miss a player who can just go for 40, 50 every night. You know, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a moment where it just clicks for all. All right, I I low-key had to make this a short stream because I have a lot of schoolwork, but I just wanted to do a quick like 30, 40 minute stream. I appreciate all of y'all for coming out. I know I'm just ending at an abrupt time right now, but um, you still hate the Spurs. Yeah, but like you hate the Spurs for different reasons now. You know, it's not the same thing. And Kobe. All right, what's your biggest take? I'll answer like one or two more questions. What's your biggest takeaway 2 games in? My biggest takeaway is first of all, that Shea is truly the most game breaking on ball player we have seen. Like Minnesota literally has nothing for him. Second of all, Denver really just tested its team and in a really specific way that mo- that I don't think any other team really could have. Like I probably appreciate Denver more. I appreciate Jokic more for how tough they made the Thunder look, how good they played as zone defense. And I also said that at the same time, like as bad as the Thunder have been offensively, Denver's zone has been perfect every single time. So that's one of my biggest takeaways, like how how well Denver executed. I think that's a huge thing. And then, like I just said, Shea's ability to just change how defenses have to play. And then I would say another thing I could take away is I'm not even take away, but like this post defense is absurd, man. Like how they're able to just completely destroy post players. Jaren Jackson Jr. round one, Nikola Jokic round two. Jokic was obviously still good, but like he wasn't as good in the post as he was all year. And then this round, Randall. That's my biggest takeaway. But yeah, and again, years later, we're gonna look back in the Nugget series at the start of the dynasty. They made us grow up. Yeah, there was a series where what do you call? I think the Golden State might have got pushed to like 6 or 7 at one point, and people thought they weren't ready for it, something like that. I think it was Memphis. They were down 2-1. I'm pretty sure it was that series. Same thing. Thunder were down 2-1 to Denver. That's the series where they grew up. Like again, people overreacted a lot in the moment, but Denver was just a really good matchup. I mean, we still have to close this series out, close the next series out, but like I always think that's what's gonna start looking like. Big takeaway that Shea might average 33 points per game. What is he averaging right now? Like this series. I think it's like 35. It might be 35. 34 and a half, 8.5 assists, 4 rebounds. What's his efficiency like? He was pretty inefficient game one because of like just missing his shots. Pretty solid efficiency now. I mean that's an MVP level like performance. 35 points per game, 57 true shooting. Like what else do you want to say? All right. Um, I said earlier, again short stream. Appreciate Young, Easy Money Sniper, LeBron, Bryce, uh, DIF, Diff, RJ, Colin, all these guys in the chat today. I appreciate all y'all asking questions. Again, sorry for the short stream. I will say one thing before I get out. I will try to make a video on the game, and I know I've been slacking. I have not made any videos on the game since game one against Denver, like a film breakdown on terms of like what happened, or like a specific section. But if you guys can, before you guys leave, like, can you guys answer like what would you guys like to see broken down? Like, would you guys like to see Shea? Would you guys like to see like something about Julius Randle? Something about the defense, something about J Dub. Like, tell me something I could make a video on about game one and game two, or just one of the games in general. Because I have some time tomorrow. I can try to make a video before game three. So just let me know any potential ideas, any suggestions, just anything Thunder related through the first 2 games. But again, just say anything in the chat. But I'll probably be ending it right about now. Appreciate you on Easy Money Sniper, man. Thunder up, man. All right, I'm gonna end. Can you do a video about how different the Nuggets and Wolves played its own? Hmm. Okay, I could do that. Maybe Chad and J-Dub, they're stepping on big right now. Show us the differences from game 1 and 2 on Randall. Okay. Okay. So something along those lines. It, I'm trying to think, like, should I make a Shea one also? Should I just try doing a Shea one, second half breakdowns? Should I do one on the third quarter, maybe? I could do one on the third quarter for game 2, maybe. Or game 1 and game 2. We could do something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are some good ideas. I'm only going to be able to do one, so I think it's between just Shea's first 2 games in general, and then like something about the third quarter or like the coverages and yeah. All right, all right. Appreciate the feedback, but again, I have to go. Appreciate all y'all coming out. Appreciate everyone. Third quarter for both games would be fire. All right, I'll try. All right, appreciate y'all.